Okay guys, it's another day. You know, it's very cold outside. I had so many big plans of working on my car and doing all this cool stuff, even working on my Jeep as well. I have some maintenance to do on that. But as is with all plans, they got all messed up because it's currently like 40 degrees outside and raining, so this is not gonna work for me. I brought the engine block inside because Abby is at a friend's house, so hopefully she'll never find out. And we're just gonna do some block prep because tomorrow Ian and I will be assembling the engine as far as we can get. I'm still missing a couple pieces here and there, but we'll be getting most of the rotating assembly in there. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have pistons, crank, bearings, cams in the head, maybe even head gasket on. Those are my goals tomorrow. And then we can start, you know, doing the timing chains, things like that. Be a lot of fun, and I have never fully assembled an engine from like, you know, ground up. But I'm happy to learn, and I think it'll be a good experience. Anyway, so I have the block back from the machine shop. I had them machine out the cylinders, so they're a slight overbore. It's 1/10 of a millimeter overbore. It's only a few thousandths. And all that does is make sure that the cylinder is nice and straight all the way, the full length from the bottom to the top. Just makes it trues it up nicely, and it's still technically a hone, not a bore. And this is all within the specs for my new pistons, which we'll talk about later tomorrow and when we're assembling it. But they did not block the deck, so the surface finish is still stained, you know, from heat cycling and just general use. Like anytime you pull a head off, the block is going to be stained, the head is going to be stained. So my head was decked, as you should with anytime you remove a aluminum head from a steel block. You should always deck the head just to make sure it's flat, because they're usually not 100% flat. And they checked my block and it was good to go. So all I'm gonna do now, take some honing stones, kind of up, grind it off, sand it off real fine. We're gonna use a really high grit just to remove the staining that's on the block, and you know, get it good to go. There's a lot of critics whenever you start talking about using sanding stones and sandpaper on engine blocks and things like that, but this is a steel block and I will be very gentle with it. All I want to do is clean it up and get it nice and shiny so that gasket is good to go. I don't want to worry about anything when I start this up. I want this to be totally squared away so I can focus on other parts of the build. A lot of people use Scotch-Brite and things like that. Done it before, not a fan. It ends up everywhere, it's hard to clean out. This is, you know, again, you'll have a little pieces of metal ending up everywhere, but flush the coolant channels. Do a quick, whenever you first start it, change the oil after a little bit, that kind of thing. Just make sure you're good. And they'll be so fine that I'm not worried. Anyway, let's get to it. Here we are looking at the engine block. It's got some WD-40 on it. I already pulled the locating pins out, and all we'll be doing is, like I said, lubricating it, taking some sanding stones with some really fine grit sandpaper, and just cleaning it up. As you can see, it's already been cleaned by the machine shop so they could make sure that it was straight, but it still has all this staining that you see. The one thing I will do before I start any of this process is I will attach this timing cover plate to the actual block, because you want them to be surfaced in the exact same setting. So if you deck the block, you also deck the timing cover, that sort of thing, just so they're level and you don't have, because the head sits on it and you don't want to have the head kicked up in the front and then have this weird gap right here, and then you're wondering what happened. All right. I don't really need to do anything else because I'll just spray this out with some brake clean and oil because there's no pistons in here. There's nothing gonna get stuck in rings. I'll just spray these out with brake clean and then re-oil them. But here is my stone. It's just something I got off Amazon. It's very fine, or it's semi-coarse on one side and very fine on the other. So all we're gonna try to do is cut into this.
I need to stop. I've been doing too much, I've been running too fast, I've been testing my luck. I've been living cloud nine, I've been at it all night, I've been feeling so rough. I've been waking up late, I've been making up shit, I've been spilling my guts. I've been feeling so blessed, no stress, no day, so I'm living out my dreams like every night. I love my life, but when I'm looking at my blurry eyes, it's not
Okay, so this is what it's looking like after probably an hour or so. It's a little hard to see, but it's still got some staining, but you know, that's nothing. That looks great. Nice and clean. So, just having a look at it, this is what my block looks like now after one semi-coarse, fine, and then 3000 grit. It looks great. Still some staining, but I kind of wanted to leave just a little bit of this stuff, this pitting and staining, just so I knew that I wasn't going too deep and I wasn't really changing the surface, I was just polishing it up. Give it a wipe, bring it on the clean block. I'll just take my 2000s. Just tap it through. All right, block's looking very good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's ready for the OEM gasket. I think it was a good project. It took a little while. I think it's better than spending 90 bucks on having it decked. Everything checked out for flatness. I think we should be good to go. I'll take this over to Ian's and we'll put this together tomorrow. We'll get as much done as we can. Don't know if the head's gonna be on it because I haven't drilled the oil return and the timing cover yet, but we'll try. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. A little smaller video because I know I haven't been posting a lot lately. I've been so busy with all of these projects that I got going on. But I appreciate all you guys watching. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a wicked build. Peace out.
it's running.